It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update as we have the latest on Cody Rhodes' potential return to WWE. Jeff Hardy addresses his recent comments about joining AEW, and another top name has departed from WWE. And if you haven't already, make sure you go over and subscribe to our new WrestlePlanet gaming channel, where we're set to release regular WWE 2K22 content, including GM mode lists and even some AEW based stuff. On Saturday night, Impact Wrestling would hold their No Surrender pay-per-view, and at the show, Bullet Club's Jay White would turn on the Guerrillas of Destiny to align with the Good Brothers, helping them retain their Impact Tag Team titles. This led to two questions. Have Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa left the Bullet Club, and have the Good Brothers rejoined the group? Well, White would address the situation on Impact Wrestling television last night, joined by Chris Bay, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows, with them all wearing Bullet Club t-shirts. White would reveal that GOD are no longer part of Bullet Club business and said, "At No Surrender, Tama, Tonga, I know you feel like it was personal, but guys, you've got to trust me, you've got to believe me when I say it was strictly business. Sometimes in business, you've got to shed the dead weight, because you two just no longer measure up to the standard that I need in order to reach the heights that I'm aiming for with the Bullet Club." So as the leader, as the real leader, Tama, I had to make an executive decision for the betterment of Bullet Club business that you two will no longer be a part of. But I tell you who will be a part of it, the ultimate finesser Chris Bay, and the greatest, I'll say it again, greatest tag team in Bullet Club history, the Good Brothers. This marks the Good Brothers' first appearance as Bullet Club members since 2016. Carl Anderson was a founding member of the faction back in 2013 alongside Tama Tonga, Bad Luck Fale, and Prince Devitt, before Doc Gallows would join later that year. Both men would leave Bullet Club to join WWE back in 2016, but this move shows that once you're Bullet Club, well, you know the rest. Over the years, John Morrison has gone by many names, including his real name John Hennigan, Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Nitro, and most recently John Superstar for Lucha Libre AAA. And now Morrison has been crowned with a brand new moniker, the 13th of his career, after being announced for an upcoming GCW event. With him set to appear on the upcoming GCW The World on Lucha event, he will be billed as Johnny Caballero, a Spanish word that translates to gentleman. The event is set to take place during WrestleMania weekend in April, and his opponent is yet to be confirmed. This appearance will be Morrison's first ever for GCW and one of the first in general since his WWE release back in November 2021. He has taken part in a recent AAA event last weekend where he unsuccessfully fought Hijo del Vikingo for the AAA Mega Championship. Johnny joins Gringo Loco, Dragon Kid, Pagano, and Laredo Kid as the names that have been announced for the GCW The World on Lucha show so far. This week, AEW's Bryan Danielson would appear on the Throwing Down with Renee and Misha podcast, where he would discuss a possible appearance in New Japan Pro-Wrestling's prestigious G1 Climax tournament. Having achieved so much in his career, he would be asked what's left for Bryan Danielson to do and what is on his bucket list before his days in the ring are over. Danielson would state that he doesn't look at things like that anymore, although he does have a goal of competing in the G1, and he would say, "I don't have that bucket list. I really want to do a G1, right, for New Japan. Other than that, I don't really have that in a sense of, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. When I was forced to retire, what it really made me think is I don't want to take any of this for granted. I don't want to go out there and just go through the motions. We're all putting ourselves out there for injury. Our careers could be ended on any night. I didn't know before I was forced to retire that the last match I had before that was going to be my last match." It seems that Bryan is very much living in the moment right now, and he stated that he is treating every match like it's his last, and he just wants to enjoy wrestling whilst he still can. This mindset has no doubt been instilled in him after he was suddenly forced to retire back in 2015 due to head injuries, before miraculously being cleared 3 years later. Bryan knows better than anyone that this could all end in a heartbeat. The G1 Climax will be held in the fall of 2022, with finalists having to endure 10 matches over the course of 1 month. Whether or not AEW would allow Bryan to compete in such a grueling schedule remains to be seen, although it's likely something he will push for in the coming months. Ever since his retirement back in 2014, Corey Graves has succeeded outside of the ring as a host and as a commentator on WWE shows. A recent report from Fightful revealed that following his past concussion issues, Graves has now been cleared for a return to the ring, news he received last year. Corey and his fiancée Carmella would speak with TMZ to promote their new reality series Corey and Carmella this week, and he would confirm that he has been medically cleared but doesn't have any plans to wrestle right now, and he would say, "It crossed my mind. I went and spent some time with doctors middle of last year. I kinda got the itch. This is one of the first times I'm saying this publicly. I have been medically cleared to compete. It's not an immediate goal of mine, it was just something I needed to know for my own sanity. My journey in the ring got cut short and it's kinda eaten at me for years, always wondering what if there's a chance, what if there's an opportunity. I went and did the necessary steps and it turns out I'm more okay than I thought I was, but never say never. It's not an immediate goal, but you can never take the wrestler out of my heart, so I would be remiss if I didn't say I didn't have any interest in something." It seems for now that Corey Graves won't be returning to the ring, but he now has the peace of mind that he could do if he wanted to. Last November, he won the 24/7 championship before losing it to announcing colleague Byron Saxton, and he would then tweet, "I kinda wanna wrestle again," suggesting an in-ring return isn't off the table. Over the past number of months, Brian Cage has been missing from All Elite Wrestling television. His last AEW televised match took place in October 2021 when he took on former Team Taz teammate Ricky Starks for the FTW title, eventually losing in just over 10 minutes. Since then, there's been a lot of speculation surrounding his future with the company, with rumours of unrest between himself and AEW management. Cage's wife has even spoke out publicly against how he's been booked, which likely only damaged relations further. In an update from Fightful Select, word going around the AEW locker room is that Cage has had his one-year option picked up by the company, meaning his contract has been extended automatically. Cage is said to have been surprised that the company would do this, as he and virtually everyone else in AEW expected that they would let it expire, allowing him to become a free agent. Several AEW stars have had their one-year options picked up recently, including Chris Jericho, the Young Bucks, and Frankie Kazarian, and it seems we can now add Brian Cage to that list, despite his total lack of television time as of late. AEW has not confirmed the contract extension for Cage, but this is the word going around the locker room, apparently coming from Cage himself. This month, Cody Rhodes' AEW departure and subsequent reports that he's heading to WWE has been the talk of wrestling. Cody left All Elite Wrestling due to a reported financial dispute over his new deal, as well as a loss of booking power in his role as EVP. Whilst a deal between Cody and WWE hasn't been confirmed, we do know that talks have taken place, with WWE even making references to Rhodes on both social media and on Monday Night Raw this week. On the latest episode of Fightful Select Q&A, Sean Ross Sapp would address the Cody situation and his potential signing with WWE, revealing that things have gone silent in the WWE camp, and he revealed, "I haven't gotten confirmation that he's signed yet or anything beyond that. It has been eerily silent since probably Friday or Saturday." A new report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter has discussed what is described as an almost unheard of level of public interest in the Cody Rhodes story, noting that it was the second most searched topic on the internet on February 15th, the day his departure was made official. This is unheard of for a wrestling story to gain this level of interest, with the exceptions being that of wrestler deaths or high-profile pay-per-views. This will no doubt only increase WWE's interest in bringing Cody Rhodes back to the company, with him showing he has reached a whole new level since leaving the company in 2016. On top of this, WWE is said to have big plans for Cody upon his return. On yesterday's video, we discussed a recent interview on the Jared Myers YouTube channel with Jeff Hardy, where he would confirm that he is heading to All Elite Wrestling. The interview would take place backstage at one of his concerts, and he casually revealed that he is joining AEW. For those that missed it, here's exactly what Jeff would say. "I'm going to AEW. I'm so excited. Until this morning, I didn't really know. I'm so nervous and excited." Jeff has now taken to Twitter after the interview circulated to help calm speculation, adding that nothing is official yet. And Jeff would say, "Nothing is official, social media. It can't be right now. I've simply set a goal for myself and I will achieve it eventually. The main thing is, don't get excited." This is quite funny because Jeff literally said, "I'm going to AEW," and he didn't know until that morning. With that said, Hardy is unable to officially sign with AEW until his non-compete clause expires on March 9th, but he likely has a verbal agreement, something that shouldn't really be discussed publicly. This tweet could perhaps be a protective measure against any potential legal issues with WWE, as he is still technically under WWE contract and is not allowed to sign with another wrestling company or even talk to them. Either way, the initial interview suggests that Jeff Hardy will inevitably be All Elite in the near future, but for legal reasons, he's definitely not yet. And finally, there's been another WWE departure confirmed after a top contract has expired. According to numerous sources, WWE superstar Cesaro has quietly exited WWE after his current deal came to an end. The Swiss Superman's last match for the company saw him lose in less than 4 minutes to Happy Corbin on SmackDown 2 weeks ago, and he was scheduled to be at tonight's episode of SmackDown in Hershey, Pennsylvania, but will no longer be in attendance. It was noted by PW Insider that Cesaro has been in negotiations to renew his contract with WWE, but both parties were unable to agree terms. Unlike Jeff Hardy, he will not be subject to a 90-day non-compete clause due to this not being a release but a contract expiration, meaning he is free to work for another wrestling organization as soon as he wants. And in an update provided by Fightful Select, Cesaro underwent negotiations last year which led to him being pulled from a top contender gauntlet match before signing a 1-year extension. There is said to have been people in the company surprised that he was offered a 1-year deal as opposed to the standard re-signing length, which is usually 3 or more years. The reaction within the company is said to be that of disappointment and dismay, as he was one of the most universally liked individuals on the roster. Fightful were told that this was not the case of WWE not wanting him, and he was offered a contract, but it was rejected. Cesaro is said to have mentioned to his fellow roster members that his deal was up in February, and that he was unsure on if he'd be sticking around. On top of this, he is said to have been disappointed with how he was used in the company, and he wasn't happy that he wasn't involved in this year's Royal Rumble show, although he has been professional about it. Until he ends up elsewhere, it's possible that he could re-sign if a better offer comes his way, and it is said that the door didn't appear to be closed completely. In my personal opinion, Cesaro is a top talent and is easily one of the most underutilized stars in recent years. Not only is he physically impressive, but he has all the in-ring talent you'd ever need, and he has a unique international appeal, particularly in the European market. I honestly can't wait to see what's next for Cesaro, or maybe we're gonna have to get used to calling him Claudio Castagnoli once again. And before you go, make sure you check out 10 things you didn't know about AEW's Danhausen.